Miami's ACC schedule in 2025 is going to be pretty similar to the one in 24, but you look at the non-conference, and that's where the schedule gets tougher. So let's break it all down. Here is that full schedule, and we're going to start with the non-conference. So they'll play Notre Dame, Bethune-Cookman, South Florida, and Florida in the non-conference. So what's the big difference here? Obviously, you see it right there at the top, Notre Dame. They didn't play a second really good power quality opponent last year. They played Florida and then had some easier non-conference games. This year, they're going to play Florida and Notre Dame. So, a lot of people want the ACC and the SEC to go to go to a 9-game conference schedule. But if you stay at an 8-game conference schedule, it does give you the opportunity to have a non-conference game against a team like Notre Dame and a team like Florida. And also they have South Florida in there as well. So a very tough non-conference schedule for Miami, other than Bethune-Cookman, obviously. But yeah, this is going to be a difficult non-conference schedule for the Hurricanes. Let's now look at who they play at home and who they play away, and we'll really kind of focus on the ACC team. So in the ACC at home, they're going to play Louisville, Stanford, Syracuse, and NC State. And then on the road, they will play Florida State, SMU, Virginia Tech, and Pittsburgh. So obviously, you see SMU there. SMU, a team that went to the ACC championship last year. So that's going to be a tougher opponent here on the schedule. But overall, it's pretty similar. They play several of the same teams that they played last year. So yeah, that's interesting there. So let's go game by game. And this is one of the weirdest schedules when you look at, a couple of things. First of all, it's the bye weeks. You've got 2 bye weeks right there early in the year, only 1 game in between the 2 bye weeks. That is strange. They also close out the year with back-to-back road games. They do start with 4 home games. So an interesting schedule here for Miami. They will open up week 1 at home against Notre Dame, and this is going to be one of the biggest non-conference games really in all of college football. This is going to be a huge game, and it's really going to set the tone for these two teams. You win this game, you've already got a huge win. You lose this game, you're kind of under a lot of pressure the rest of the season. This game is going to be on Sunday, August 31st. So the spotlight will be on this game, and it's going to be a big one. So again, win that game, and you're in great shape to maybe make a run at the college football playoff. You lose that game, you're under a lot of pressure. After that, they'll play Bethune-Cookman on September 6th. Then they'll play South Florida on September 13th. Then after that, it's Florida at home on September 20th. So they play all 4 non-conference games to start the season. All 4 of those games are at home, and then they get their first bye week on September 25th. And this is where it's just weird. You get Florida State after a bye week, and then you also have a bye week the next week. So Miami is going to be able to put all of their focus into this game. Again, you get the extra week to prepare. You don't have to worry about a game the next week. So you would expect Miami to really be prepared for this game. It's not great to have these bye weeks this early in the year, because after these 2 games, then you've got 7 straight games without a bye week. So it's very strange. After that bye week, they'll play Louisville on October 18th at home. Back-to-back home games here. They'll have Stanford on October 25th, and then they'll go on the road to play SMU on November 1st. And then it's back home for Syracuse on November 8th. And then on November 15th, they're at home again against NC State. And then on the road at Virginia Tech, November 22nd. Close things out with Pittsburgh on the road, November 29th. And, just going back to the home and away, and I didn't even point this out, they've actually got 8 home games and only 4 road games. So that is a very, that's favorable. You do have the tough non-conference games, but all these non-conference games are at home. And of course, you're going to have to split the ACC games. So 8 games at home, only 4 games on the road, and 3 of those 4 road games are in November. So if you look at the entire month of September, October, you count the Notre Dame game, as August, whatever. So you look at the first 2 months of the season, basically, only 1 road game. They have 6 home games. They have 6 home games in their first 7 games. So that is interesting as well. This is one of the more unique schedules, I would say, but I think it sets up pretty well. You do wonder about them potentially running out of gas. We've seen some late season losses for Miami in some of these years where they've had good seasons going, and you do have the back-to-back road games. So I would be a little bit concerned about those 2 road games to close things out, Virginia Tech and Pittsburgh. So how does this stack up with the other teams in the ACC? At least conference record-wise, Well, they're right there in the middle of the pack. So if you look at their opponents this year, they went 31-33 in the ACC last season, a 48% winning percentage, which again is right there in the middle of the pack. It's on the easier side, but it's pretty close to the middle. So you do have a manageable conference schedule there, but again, it's going to be that conference schedule, having to play Florida and Notre Dame. That's what makes this schedule a little bit more challenging for Miami in 2025.